Hey everybody, back again for another one. Today I've got Colossus from the X-Men. One of my absolute favorite X-Men characters. I know this is going to be more of a simpler profile shot for you guys, but that's just the way I went today so I could get some more detail on him. And give you a good solid image that you guys can enjoy. And I didn't go with the modern bearded incarnation that is in the X-Men books right now. I went with, or the X-Force books. I went with this one with a clean-shaven version. And it's a really, really clean character. I just think this dude is slick, and he hasn't been quite developed as much in recent years as I would like to see. I mean, there's a lot of different storylines with him right now, and then it's alternative and Ultimate Universe versions that are getting really, really intense with the stories with his father and whatnot. But as an X-Men fan, I just really enjoy the original 70s incarnation that came out with the reboot, and just that was one of the first comics that I actually got hooked on, and I really, really dig that character for some reason. I think it's because he was the fish out of water story for the X-Men. Unlike Rogue and Storm and a couple of the other ones that came in later, and even Wolverine, they had backstories developed with the character, but Peter's character was just dropped in and said, you know, hey, here's an X-Men, he has this ability, and the only thing we're going to tell you about him is he's Russian and he turns metal. And I mean, that was it until the Magic storylines came along, where his sister came over and she got possessed, and her powers took her over and had a Dark Phoenix type of thing going on and got messed up. But hey Matt, thanks for coming on, man. But yeah, this character's very, very interesting once you dig into the nuts and bolts of it and get to figure out what's going on with him. I think he's underutilized, like I keep saying. I think it's an underutilized and underdeveloped character. I mean, he even became the Juggernaut for a while with the armor, and he had an addiction in the Ultimate storyline where he was using a mutant DNA booster that was a narcotic for a while, and I mean, it was just crazy, the stuff that this character's been through, and nobody even knows it. So I just thought I'd pay tribute to a great one today and do this. And for those of you that are geeking out on the news today, sad bit of news: Adam West passed away last night, and that's pretty rough, man. Heart failure, from what I understand, and they're not saying much about it other than that. And, you know, I've talked to some personal colleagues and stuff that have given a little more insight into it, and, you know, it's just, which I won't go into, of course, but it's just a rough day for comics history, because we lost a great guy that helped push the Batman franchise into the modern contemporary mainstream just as well as the comic books did. I mean, even if you're not a fan of Batman 66, it still played its part in the comic culture. So, you know, with the pilot having the Batusi and all that mess going on, it is what it is. But yeah, Adam West passed away, and that's pretty harsh. So, but on a lighter note, though, I'm going to keep on trucking just because of the fact that that's the way it works. So, sorry if I'm bearer of bad news there for anybody. That stuff is just a tough thing, you know. But he lived a good, hard life, though, and did his own thing, and I'm sure that he passed away exactly where he wanted to be. So, but on to Colossus here. I hope they do more of this character in the upcoming movies, because you know they're doing a couple. As far as I understand from the rumor mill, the X-Men films are coming out with at least 2 more of these X-Men films. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I hear a lot of stuff, and we'll see what comes of it. But there's supposed to be 2 more X-Men films, not of the original cast from the new class, because their contracts are up, but they're bringing back some kind of intermittent story. I don't know what they're going to do yet, but they keep talking about it, so we'll see if it comes out, if it pans out or not. I'm hoping that this character gets a bigger cameo, especially since he got such a big appearance in the Deadpool film. I know some of my younger followers don't get to watch stuff like that yet, and I'm sorry, but you guys you'll have your day. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. For now, though, just enjoy what you're doing at your age level. I'm going to cut in this red here. This is a modern interpretation of his suit. It's got the red lining right here, and then on the other side it has the red lining as well. But it's also got this this black V taper right in here, and I don't know if that's of the X-Men redesign or what, but I just found the suit fascinating, so that was the rendition that I went with. So we will go from there, but I'm going to put this big red X symbol right here. I have my X button, so give him a Schwarzenegger accent. I'm going to erase that line out because I don't want that there. But no, I'm going to put this big X symbol right here. Pop that out. Because it's raised for some reason. We'll draw that in there. I've been getting asked left and right about tomorrow's card, because everybody wants to see this one apparently, and everybody being like, I don't know, 10 people. But I'm getting asked a lot about it nonetheless. And yes, to answer that question live today, right now, yes, tomorrow's card is going to be Deadpool. Just to get that off the table and to share with you guys that it will be Deadpool. Okay? So line this out so it has a nice shiny edge right there. And I know that's not level. I'll level that up. I'll round it out with a guide or a scroll and line that up. Or maybe I'll leave it like that and just leave it a big button, you know. Vote for me kind of thing. Um, big pop-up political button for the X-Men. But anyway, I'm going to cut this red one right in here like this. And it goes up beside the neck there. So now you got the red on this side, the red on that side, the black down here in the middle, and we're going to have the yellow up around the collar and the chest. So to define that, I'm going to carve out that line here to give it a little more dimension. And pop it up for you guys to check out. Now there's a little bit of piping on this costume. I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to, you know, make a mess of it and whatnot, and have it run all over the place. But I will put in just a little bit of this piping that runs down across here to separate, because in the red and the black and the yellow crossing there is a little bit of this weird piping where the fabric meets. I don't know exactly why they did that, but it adds a cool aesthetic sometimes, so I'll go ahead and put that in there. And now I'm going to do the hair here, which this is always interesting for me because he has ridged hair, and it's weird to see that turn to metal, but it is what it is. So we're going to get it out there. And shape that out so you guys can see it. Now, in the way the hair is drawn, a lot of people will go into this whole thing where they put these big bubbles or light circles or whatever on there. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to black it out because it stays a grayish black anyway. And whenever he transforms and such, it goes into this black gray phase, so it shows metallic, and then he has these highlights of blue and white and silver or gray in there. Give him his peak here. Switch to the 9 so I don't dig into that card too bad. So we'll get to flesh this out in a timely manner. But yeah, I really dig this, the way this character looks, and I've always thought that was neat. For a while he even went bald, which was pretty cool. It didn't stick. You know, they brought the hair back real quick. Apparently fans didn't agree, but I thought it was an interesting and neat look. So carve in those eyebrows there, which do the same thing. They have that metallic highlight because they do convert into metal, but then they have that gray blue look rather than anything else. And a lot of people don't like to do that. They always black them out. I'm okay with that too. If that's your thing, that's fine. I'm going to start rendering some of this a little bit, but like I said, I don't want to play with this too much because this is metal, and I don't want it to look weird or sketched out or whatnot. So I'm not going to cut that up too much. But I will add in a few things to make this pop off. And I know these are kind of scribbly here, excuse that. I'm doing it because of the fact of expediency, so we can get that going. But going to mark some of this out. And I'm going to put a bubble right here to shade the underarm fold on that break between the bicep and the delt. Put in a nice ridge line right here for some highlight. Scribble straight through there, and then I'll get my big knuckles out of the way so you guys can see. And for the underside of this bicep here where the arm meets, I'm going to line that out like that. Go ahead and add in a couple of little details like that right there. And his face stays clean. If you're ever drawing this character, keep his face clean. Let a colorist come in there and take care of that for you. Do not monkey with this thing. If you're trying to be a comic artist and you want to draw the X-Men, don't go in and draw all the little details in there and whatnot, you know, because unless you master that that lighting concept, don't do that, because you'll end up tearing it up and ruining it. And by tearing it up, I mean you'll destroy the look, and it won't look like metal, it'll look trashed. So don't go in and do that unless you absolutely know what you're doing with it, which I do not claim to do at all. And I like to do this because it gives him a little more organic, segmented look. So some guys like to do that with their artwork. I don't know anybody that, a matter of fact, I don't know of anybody that doesn't like to do the segments like that to make it pop off a little more. It just gives it a little more dimension. So I'm going to do something that nobody else does here. I'm going to give him pupils. And the reason I do this is because I like to see them be organic, and I'm going to shape them out, but I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to make them look metallic, and I'm not going to black them out because I want them to look, you know, like they are converted as well. So I'm going to leave that open like that. I hope that's a cool look for you guys. So he's got that kind of that kind of attitudinal thing going on, like what? So we're going to leave that alone. I'll put some fabric details in here because this dude likes to wear leather and big, thick protective suits. So I'm not going to play around with that too much. I'm going to come in and put a couple of details in, and I'm going to leave it alone. Make it look like it's been scuffed up and used a little bit, and that's it. Now this is a yellow section here, so we're just barely going to put any marks on it. Just barely at all. Want to keep that nice and light. Over here on the red, I'm going to put in a little more shadowing because it can handle it. Up here more on the yellow, going to leave that alone. Just a couple pop marks. And I'm definitely going to put a little bit of shadow right here because this is going to be a hard crease where the chest is right there into the diaphragm. So now we've got the red down here. We'll put a little bit more detailing right there. Bear with my hand being in the way. I'm just going to mark that out to keep from tearing up the card. So now that's done. I'm going to line out that rib curve. Like I said, not blacking it all out, just detailing it a little bit. And then in this black area, I'm actually going to leave this open and color it gray for the most part. because I don't want to drown that out. I'm going to put a couple of hard shadows in here, and I'm going to leave that open. With some gray coloring so that it doesn't mess it up. Alright. Go in here. Pop in some detail right there on that one. And this is one of the more, I don't know how to phrase it here, other than a little more ornate of cards that I've actually done, because this one is more finished like what I would do in a comic book, rather than just a sketchy style. So I'm going to black out that piece right there next to that piping, and then I'm going to separate it. That'll open that curve for the ribs. And I'm going to put in the bottom of that diaphragm right there. So, there you have it. We have Colossus. Just tweaking this just a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to mark this up too much, because then it'll do weird things and it won't look right. A little something over there. Alright, cool. And you know what? I'll put a little dot right here on the ear, just to make it look a little shiny. So, there you have it, folks. You dare challenge Mother Russia? Yeah, I believe it, man. That's funny. So, I think we have our Colossus. And just so I don't leave it hanging here, I'm going to put, because this is red back here, I'm going to put a little more in here to balance that out. I'm going to put a cut right there. And then back here, I'll put a little bit just to bring it in, to tie it all together. There you go. That's it. Not another line. There you go. That's Colossus. Thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And tomorrow, like I said, is going to be Deadpool. And in light of Mr. West passing, I may hop on and do something a little bit later in the evening as well, as a tribute piece for him, and add another card to the session. If I don't hold me to that. It's not a promise. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you tomorrow.